Gurubaran, what we learned in the last class?
Sir, we saw how to randomly initialize the weight and update it according to the errors we get.
Perceptron is what we learned.
Yes, sir. Detail.
So can you just try to explain this slide? What right now what I'm projecting to you? This slide, can you put in words what I have written here? What is there in the slide? Anybody from the class? Put in words what you are seeing here right now. Bhaskar, can you put in words the slide? Can you express your ideas that's given in this slide about this slide? Are you there, Bhaskar? So far we have been talking about three main concepts. We discussed about biological neurons, okay, MP model, McLeod-Spitz model, is something like this. Okay. Inputs threshold. Then perceptron models with weights. Okay. You can use some learning algorithms to find or to identify the weights. And the algorithm what we have learned is more like a gradient descent algorithm. Gradient descent. Okay, so in today's class, let us see one code, okay, Python code on GPT notebook. Along with that, we'll try to work out some problems also. Okay, so in the last class, in fact, we worked out a problem, something like this. So for some initial weights 1 and 1, bias of -1, you'll be getting a line like this. And the important point is the weight should be perpendicular to the line that you have drawn. So the line is more like line equation. So for any line, how do you draw? Draw a line like this. So you have weights W11 x1 plus W12 x2 plus some bias equal to. So this is x1, this is x2. This is more like x, y. Y is equal to mx plus c is what we want. So naturally, what we are trying to do, we try to bring x to one end. Okay, the other all other terms other end. So divided by W11, this is going to be W1. So this will be your line equation. Y is equal to mx, where m is nothing but the corresponding W11 by W12, and the where c is nothing, intercept is nothing but minus b by W. So that is this line. Okay, this line equation is this. So when this line equation is like this, then this line equation is satisfying the condition, this condition. You write everything, okay, including this b. This b can be written as a constant one, okay, x0. X0 can always be 1. This W0 can be varied. So naturally, then you will be getting W transpose x is equal to 0, where this is nothing but W11, W12, W0. Okay. So the corresponding parameters are x1, x2, x0. That's all. So you'll be getting a dot product. Okay, this is 1 cross 3, and this is 3 cross 1, and you'll be getting a single number. That's a dot product. So for this dot product, almost all the points lying on the line will be equal to 0. That's the idea. Okay? W transpose x is equal to 0. So with this idea in mind, okay, now let us think about this. So this is a line we are talking about. So this is a perpendicular line. Perpendicular to what? The weight vector should be perpendicular to the line. This line satisfies the condition W transpose P plus B is equal to 0. Okay, and this weight vector is now perpendicular to that line. So with this in mind, let us now proceed further. decision boundary is like this. Okay, it's a decision boundary. With this we learned, and then we worked out for an OR problem. Okay, so we worked out for this case. These two are one pattern. This is one pattern. This is a different pattern. So we need to draw lines in order to separate these two patterns. So how did we work out? So we initialize the random weights, and then we started checking this condition. Every time when W transpose P plus B is greater than or equal to 0, we'll be landing up in this side, one side of the line, positive side of the line. Otherwise, negative side. So the updation rule is W is equal to WP1, W minus P for the first pattern. This is what we learned. So we applied it, and we checked it. For the first case, for this particular initial weight, okay, where did we land up in? For this particular initial weight, that weight is satisfying the condition for, this is the positive side. See, the weight vector is projected like this. This is the positive side primarily because any vector lying in this direction will give an angle less than 90 degrees. So cos alpha, it is a dot product, so therefore cos alpha will be a positive value. So that's what you'll be getting. Okay, but the key point is this particular pattern is not classified. It is a negative side. So this is a line. So we need to update the weights. That's what we are doing. Compute the hard limb function and then compute the minus 0.6 is equal to 0. Everybody with me till this point? Anybody having any difficulty in understanding this particular slide? Please raise your voice. Everybody comfortable with this slide? Anybody?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, anybody comfortable? Okay. So that's a kind of rule we are talking about. Then the next stage, we updated the weight here. Okay. So we got 0. It's an incorrect classification for the first pattern. So we need to update the weight by adding weight with P1. So W old plus P. So now you got a new weight. This is the initial weight, and you ended up in a new weight. The vector is rotating. Okay, this vector is from here to here. It's just been pushed there. Okay, because of the addition of P1 term. Now, because of that, what happens? It's classifying it properly. Now, but for the second pattern, for P1 it classifies properly, but for pattern 2 it is not classified. Incorrect classification. Now again you have to update the weight. Okay, now from here, this is the initial weight now. From here to again it is moving back. Okay. All right. Old minus P. So then again one more misclassification. And from this point, you have reached this point, now from here to here. And this particular line is now satisfying all the conditions because this is in the negative side, this is negative side, this is in the positive side. That's the weight updation. Okay, so look at this learning rule very carefully for a minute, every one of you. When the target, the desired value or the target is equal to 1, but the neural network output is equal to 0, target minus neural network output is going to be 1. Therefore, new weight is equal to old weight plus P. Okay. If it is T is equal to 0 and the neural network output is 1, you're going to have minus 1. Therefore, you get minus 2. So if it is T is equal to A, T is equal to A, neural network output, then you're going to have, so the error is 1, you're going to have this, that's the condition. And B mu is equal to B old plus error. Error can be added or subtracted. So for multi-layered network also, we also seen this example with apple banana example. Okay. So it's a kind of problem we solved. Now I'm introducing you the corresponding transfer functions. Okay. For example, you have a summation. All the 3 inputs are going in. When you're going to take it out, you can pass it through a function. That's what we learned. Hard limb function, we said. There are so many other functions are also there, like a hard limiter that we just now we have seen. When the neural network output is equal to 0, network output. What I really mean is after taking the summation. Okay, this output, this is A. If this summation value is equal to 0, okay, where n is less than 0, neural network output is less than 0, this value. sorry, neural network output is n. Okay, if n is less than 0, then the corresponding network output is going to be, neural network output is going to be 0. So it's more like a hard limb function, a step function. The first one. A is equal to what? When the neural network output is greater than or equal to 0. Okay, A will become 1, this value. When the neural network output is greater than or equal to 0, this value, output A will be 1. Okay, is it clear? Are you getting the point? Clearly what I'm saying? Take the summation. Give all the values, including bias. Bias value can be equal to 1 and put weight W0. Is x2, is x3. This is W1, this is W2. What you get as output is what you call it as neural network output. So W0 x1 plus W2, W1 x2 plus W2 x3. You'll be getting this. Or otherwise, maybe you can put x0 here. Put only equal to 0, then you'll be getting x1, W2, x2. So this is your expression. As x0 is equal to 1, always this is W0. We'll keep this x0 is always equal to 1, biased. This is only you change this. So this is the expression we are talking about. When this value, if it is greater than or equal to 0, for hard limb function, we pass it through the hard limb function like this, we'll be getting either 0 or 1. That's the hard limit. Okay, hard limiter. Hard limiter. Hard. Anybody having difficulty understanding it? Please raise your voice. Everybody with me till this point? Okay. Yeah. Second one is something called symmetrical hard limit. Here the network value is less than 0, you're going to get -1. Same idea. Symmetrical. That's all. It's a symmetrical hard limit. Third one, linear function. Linear function is what? Simply whatever the neural network output is, that's the corresponding network output is also. That's the function output also will be same as the neural network output. It's a linear function. For example, if I'm going to get 1 neural network output, the output is also 1. So it's linearly increasing. This is neural network output. This is the function output. Sorry, this is yeah. So this is going to be whatever be the neural network input is, will be the output. 2, 2. Based on this, the slope cannot be adjusted. It's linear. Okay, so linearly you can increase the slope by 2 or 3 or something, but it's all right. But it's linear. That's important. It's not non-linear. Then you have saturating linear also. Saturating linear means after some point the value becomes always 1. Okay, till some point it will be increasing. For example, till 0 it is 0, then it is increasing linearly. After some point it becomes saturated value. It is called saturated linear function or symmetric saturating linear. This is another function, symmetric. Okay, symmetric saturating. Log sigmoidal function. These two functions are quite important. Now we are entering into the nonlinear realm. Okay, even saturation is also nonlinear. Okay, this is nonlinear. Log sigmoid. Look at the function. The neural network output is sitting over here. What does this n signifies? Anybody in the class? What do you understand from the n? Kailash?
The output of the perceptron.
Output of the? Tell me this. Output of this linear combiner. Okay, the perceptron. Yeah. Output of this n. That you are passing it through that function. Okay, that function value. Now it is decided by what? What is this function now? 1 by 1 plus e power minus. You understand this kind of function? You call it as log. We'll learn more about this function later on, but just now get a feel of it. Log sigmoidal function. Okay. So that's what I said by this. By this function. Okay, you understand? This is neural network. This is the combiner. Hyperbolic tangent. Again, that's more like this. then it's called tan sigmoid, log sigmoid. Then positive linear functions. It's linear only for positive values. For negative value, no value. Okay. When n is less than 0, it's going to be 0. 0 less than or equal to n, it's going to keep increasing. N is greater than or equal to 0. Okay. Now that's the idea. So one more neural network is that something called as competitive neural. This is a very powerful idea. Competitive. What is this neural? Can somebody guess what is the output of this neural network? How you will get it? Any fair guess? Competitive neural network. How it works? How this function works?
Sir, output will be an impulse function, sir.
No. Okay, it's one value is one. Okay. Anything else? Anything you are deriving from this expression? Fair guess? Competitive. What do you mean by competitive?
Sir, maybe the highest possible value we get the output, sir.
That is right. Who is that?
Abhijit, sir.
Abhijit, you are right. Abhijit, you have many neurons. Okay, you have to imagine like highest possible value is what you are saying is right. Okay, you have many neurons. Imagine I have so many neurons like this. The same layer. And I'm giving inputs to all. Okay, I'm giving one input here. Same input I'm giving it here, I'm giving it here. I'm collecting the output. So this is input 1, and I have another input x2, it is connected like this. And another input here x3, it's connected like this. See, these weights are all different. Okay, all these weights are different. One to one they are different. This will be W11, this will be W12, this will be W13. Imagine that. Okay, you have a set of weights here. Right now, don't bother about the dimensions of this weight. We will learn separately all those things. Just imagine we have separate weights here, and you get different outputs. Okay. Out of these 3 neurons, it's more like these 3 neurons are competing. Okay. So when they are competing, out of these 3 neurons, one may fire. The output can be 1 for any one of these. These 2 values can be 0. It's kind of a competitive neural networks you'll be learning again. Okay. We have something called a self-organizing map. Kebian learning, competitive learning. All these are very powerful ideas. Associative memory, competitive learning, all these are related. We'll be learning in the second unit. But just right now get a feel of it. Competing here. Okay, they are all competing. So if this is the case, then if you look at this definition, okay, A equal to 1 for a particular neuron with a maximum n. What do you really mean by it? Can you understand it clearly? What do I really mean? A is equal to 1 for a particular neuron with n maximum. What do you really mean by it? Out of these 3 neurons, okay, after taking the summation, one of the summations will be at the maximum. Okay. Whichever particular neuron is going to enjoy that maximum value will give a value 1. That's the mean. Okay. And the rest of the values will become 0. In this case, this value will be maximum. So this becomes 1 and this is 0. So the particular neuron I am talking about here. No more one neuron output. We are talking about a set of neurons. Okay. That is this idea. Competitive neuron. Competitive. See. Okay. Now with this in mind, okay, now let us take up some problems and try to think about it. Look at this Hodling function like this. Now the first problem is like this. The input to a single input neuron is a single input. Okay. Can you imagine how to need to draw the figure? It's a single input neuron. Okay, therefore I have only one input. It's 2 I am saying. Its weight is 2.3 I am saying. Okay, and its bias is -3 I am saying. What is the net input to the transfer function is what they are asking. What is the neuron output? What is the net input to the transfer function? We generally believe 2 into 2.2. Okay, that's the net input. You multiply these two. Input times weights x1 w. Easily you can visualize it. Okay. So what is the net input to the neuron? The answer is 2.3 plus 2 plus minus 0. That's going to be minus 1.6 is the answer. Okay. Are you getting the problem clearly? This is a bias. How do you give the bias? Like, that's another one input, maybe you can put minus 3 here, 1 here. That's what I told. It's more like a weight, I said. So if you look at like this, then this can be, the overall summation can be written like this. Summation. This is the net out. Plus is the bias. X1, W1 plus V2. That's the formula. So that will be your output. Everybody with me? How do you complete the neuron output? Only when you pass through a transfer function. In this case, there is no transfer function given. Okay. Therefore, you can simply say that there is no output. Only when you employ a function. So there is, he said there is a transfer function. There is no function given. No data is given to you. So naturally, you can omit it. That's the answer. The net input is given by this. Output cannot be determined because the transfer function is not specified. Everybody with me in this problem? Any doubts in this problem? First problem, all right?
So,
Very
so
good.
second one
Yeah.
is a bit,
What
what
Yeah.
do you mean? Second one, output cannot be determined because the transfer function is not specified. But,
No,
but
normally, whenever you talk about a neural network, okay, this is a net input. This is a net output. You're getting after passing through this summation. Okay, but you need to give a specific condition, whether it is greater than or equal to 0 or less than 0. If it is greater than or equal to 0, 1. If it is less than 0, it is 0. You need to fix a threshold or some hard limit function like this. Without specifying that, we cannot tell anything about the net output. Simply you are adding, that's all. So you simply taking the linear combination. W1 x1 plus, in this case, W0 x0. This x0 is equal to 1, W0 is equal to minus 3, bias. So x1 is given, W is given. Simply you have taken a linear combination. That's all. We don't know anything what to do with this data. If we are given any thresholding values like this, then only you can tell anything about neuronal. You understand?
yes, sir.
Simply you have taken linear combination. We don't know what is out. Now look at the second problem. Now look at this. What is the output of this neuron? Now whatever you have taken, this value. Okay, what is the output of this neuron? If it is having the following transfer, hard
So-
limited, yeah.
So one more doubt, sir. So a
Yeah.
neuron consists of this perceptron thing and the function, sir.
No. The perceptron, what we have learned in the last class and all, we have imagined it more like a thresholding unit. Okay, there is a bias, okay, and there is more like the inputs. And this bias also can be included as a weight, okay. And we take the linear combination and we will threshold it. Greater than or equal to 0, we will check. If it is greater than or equal to 0, output is 1. Less than 0, output is 0. This is what we concluded. So that is a condition over which you operate. This condition can be given like a hard limiting function, like what I'm saying. This you call it as a transfer function. You understand what I'm saying?
Sir, the connection got cut, sir. So left and rejoin. Can you repeat the last point?
Yeah. The point is, Krishna, yaar person?
Karthik, sir.
Karthik, okay. Karthik, listen. So in the case of the perceptron network, we are trying to discuss something like this. We take the summation of all the inputs. Okay, this is W0, sorry, X0, W0, X1, W1, X2, W2. We take all these and then we will check for a condition. What is the condition there? Remember, thresholding condition. W0 x0 plus W1 x1 plus W2 x2 should be greater than or equal to 0. If it is greater than or equal to 0, the output is 1. If it is less than 0, the output is 0. This is what the condition we define. Okay. Now instead of this kind of condition, what we are doing, we are taking the same thing and passing it through a transfer function, which is this condition only. This condition is expressed in terms of a function.
For non.
This is a kind of what do you call a hard limiting function.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
This hard limiting function is a kind of nonlinearity only. Okay. Whenever you limit something, it is nonlinearity only. Okay, so you're going to get either 1 or 0. The linear binary classifier.
Okay, sir.
For binary classification, you require this. We'll also see something called logistic regression later on. Okay, at that time we'll get more insights. Okay, logistic regression. This is only a very simple binary classification, either 0 or 1 kind of thing. That can be achieved with the help of this particular hard limiting. But there is a now there is a possibility that, okay, with these 3 inputs, I can also pass it through a nonlinear function also, something like a log sigmoidal function, a tan sigmoidal function, and I can get output. The summation value I'm going to pass it through, I'm going to get numerator. The book notation is given as NB. Okay. Are you getting the point?
Yes,
All
sir.
right? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Now look at this case. Yeah. Now what is can you compute this value for the previous case? What is the output of the neuron if it has the following transfer? Previous case, what is the output? Just note down this output. 1.6 neural network for a single neuron with one input. 2.3 is the input, 2 is the weight, and bias is -3. So for this, what did you get? 1.6. So if we pass 1.3 to what? 3 functions. One is the hard limiter, another one is the linear. Tell me the outputs. What is the first output?
So probably 1.
1, yeah. That's right. 1.6 greater than 0. So the step function is like this. At t equal to 0, it becomes 1. You remember step function, unit step function, remember. So this value is, at this point, it's greater than 0 means you're going to get 1 value. Yeah, fine. Now tell me what is the next one? Linear value?
6.
1.6.
1.
Yeah, what is the log sigmoidal? You have to plug it in this value. Okay, minus n is the function. Therefore, naturally, 1 by 1 point e power minus 1.6. You plug in whatever value you will get, that will be the answer. Okay, is it clear? Can you visualize it? What I'm saying? Yeah, this is right. It's a pure linear function. So if we pass 1.6, it's going to be 1. It's pure linear function 1.6, and we'll get 1 by 1 plus exponential. Okay?
Sir,
Yeah.
so couldn't the output be binary, sir?
No, we are moving. We are gradually moving from binary to other cases. I am introducing all the transfer functions.
Okay, sir.
That's
Okay.
why I introduced all the transfer functions. The learning algorithm will see. Okay, the learning algorithm, back propagation, learning algorithm will see. For logistic regression, how a gradient descent can be applied, we will see. But right now, just get a feel of how we are computing the output of the neuron. Okay,
Okay.
it's not no more binary.
Sir, for binary, it needed to be greater than 0, sir. So for non-binary evaluation, what is the threshold it should be greater than?
That's the hard limiter function. Whatever
Okay.
be the value greater than 0, whatever
Okay.
be the value greater than 0, output is 1. Whatever be the value less than 0, output will be 0. That's the condition. This is binary. This is binary. Either 0 or 1 you will get. But this one is not binary. Okay, this is not binary. Okay, see, it's a pure linear function.
So then, in such a case, in the second case, the pure linear function and all, how would we know that whether the required output is what do you say, a positive one or a negative one, a necessary?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, sir. Okay.
We should know the labels because all these we are doing it for supervised mode of learning. For example, if I'm going to have some negative values, I will not be using pure linear. I will be using some function like this. You understand?
Okay.
So this is labeled data, and we are working for labeled data, and we are training a network with labeled data. So we should know what kind of function we are going to use in order to get our desired result.
Okay.
You understand? Based on the problem to problem, it differs. So you need to apply different, because all these in algorithm we are going to work out. So we are going to apply different, what do you call, transfer functions for your problem and check whether it is working properly or not. Because all these are in computer, you are going to write an algorithm. Okay, you can use different transfer functions. Check whether you are getting your desired results. Okay,
Okay.
all these options are before you. So that is why all these are more like tuning the network.
Okay, sir.
Because for the given data set, we don't know how we are going to approach a given data set. Gradually, we need to tune and we need to repeatedly simulate, see the results. All this you are not going to do. Okay, the cloud server, Google Colab is going to do. Okay.
Okay.
So simply you have to switch on, run the algorithm and see the results. It will run for 1 hour for a big data, 2 hours, 3 days, we run. The cloud server will take care. And then at the end of 3 days, million data you have to run the algorithm. After 3 days, you see the results. If the results are not appropriate, again you tweak the parameters, tweak the transfer functions. Again you wait, see the results. Okay, that's how normally operate. Okay, you understand?
Yes, sir.
So normally we will not be doing it completely. The complete data set normally we won't use. That's why it takes a lot of time. So something they call it as mini batch. You take a small sample of this data and you will try to train the network. You can run it within quick time. In a short period of time, you can run it and you can see the results immediately. All right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. The same manner, look at the next problem. It is the next problem. Calculate the neuron. So just in your notebook, try this problem. I'll give you 2 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes time. Just try to take an attempt. Okay. Try to how to solve this problem. Just try to think. It's a tan sigmoid function. All right. Are you in a position to think about this problem? There is a weight. How many inputs to the neuron? 2 inputs. Okay, it's 2 inputs. How many weights? W1, W2. They are given in the form of a vector. Okay. So we know that it is 3 2 multiplied by -5, 6. I told you this already, W transpose X. Okay. So this is your weight, inner product is what you are doing. And this is a pattern. So if you do that, plus you can add the bias. You're going to get your result. So that will be your output. You have to pass on that output through a hard limiting transfer function, and then a saturating linear transfer function, and then a hyperbolic tangent sigmoidal transfer function.
So for the first one, it's 0, sir.
Yeah. 3 minus 15. So minus 15 is definitely a bigger number, so naturally it's going to be 0. Yeah. You're getting the point clearly. Good. So that's the answer. So it's going to be minus 1.8. So the value is minus 1. Why it is minus 1?
Hard
I
limits,
show
sir.
you. Yeah, I
So
show you
it's,
different.
Symmetric.
No, no. Yeah, it is symmetrical.
Symmetrical.
Yeah,
Symmetric hard
symmetrical.
limit, sir.
You should be careful about it. So here is the transfer function. Symmetrical hard transfer function. I mentioned it here. So this is what. Okay, A equal to. Okay, so comfortably you can do this. See, all these you can very well. You can go back to the video lecture again if you feel uncomfortable, and you can see it and you can clarify it. Okay, these simple ideas and no projecting. Now take a look at this data. Yeah, we have to solve the third one. What is that third one? Tan sigmoidal. So tan sigmoidal, if you go to plug in, the value is going to be saturated linear, it's going to be 0. Saturated linear means what? Okay, it's going to be more like this. The negative values are 0. Tan sigmoidal is going to be this one. Okay, you simply plug in the formula, whatever value you have computed, you plug in that function. That's right. Now look at this problem. Only the answer. So solve this problem. Take a look at this problem. and try to draw appropriate lines. Okay. To classify this data, black data one group, white data is another group. Okay, where this white dot is one group, black data is another. Draw appropriate lines to classify, and then guess the weights. What will be the value of weights? Because we know one key idea. What is that? Whatever line you are going to draw, weights will be always perpendicular to the line, and white dots should come on the positive side of the line, and black dots should come on the negative side. Think about that. Draw the weights and then look at the angles and let me know the weights for ABC. ABC problem. Think about it. How do you proceed? Anybody? Is it all right? Are you getting the point what I'm asking you to do? I'm asking you
So in
to.
this case, you first draw the WTX line, sir.
You have to draw the line. That's all. You just simply draw some line in your notebook.
So that
So that is
I will draw
like this.
perpendicular line.
This is all right. For the first problem, this is all right. Okay, this will classify this three of my white dots, the positive side, negative side. This line is sufficient. But what is the value of this weight? Can you guess? It's 2 units on negative side. Okay, it's going to be 2 units on the
2
1 minus 2. 1 minus 2 will be of sufficient. Okay, see 1 or 1 minus 1 or otherwise 1 minus 2. Okay, it will be sufficient for that. You understand what I'm saying? Every one of you? The weight value can be this. How many of you understood? Anybody having doubt, please ask. Quite direct. This is not. The problem is direct. Now look at the answers. You can easily understand. Now you have thought about it. Now apply your mind and see the answers. Clearly you can see answers. Here, the first case, the line is drawn like this, passing through the origin. Then maybe you can choose your weight here. What is this weight? 1 unit in the x direction, therefore 1 unit in negative direction minus. Therefore, this is a weight vector pointing. So if I choose my weight 1 minus 1 for the first problem, I can classify the data. What about the second case? I can draw line. Okay. And for the third case, the line.
Second one,
For
it
this
is
case,
0,
second one, the weight
sir.
should be weight should be like this. Exactly. Okay, I can choose my weights like this. So it's going to be like this. Third one, the weight should be like this. Okay, are you getting my point clearly? What I'm saying? I think he has reversed the direction. He has taken the dark one as a positive. Okay, the dark one is a positive. This is positive. This is positive. This is negative. Okay, the weight should be pointing in this direction. Are you getting my point? For this case, the weight should point here. And for this case, it should point. These are all positives. Positive. Then only you get a acute that is less than 90 degree angles with this vector. Any vector you take here, any vector here you take this vector. All these three patterns, they enjoy an angle of less than 90 degree. That's why they are positive. Cosine angle is less than positive, less than 90 positive. But for this case, this is your vector, this vector, these two vectors less than 90 degree. But for this one, this vector, okay, if you look at this vector, it is greater than 90. This vector. For all these 3-4 points over here, greater than. Getting the point? So naturally you can assume the weights. For the first case, the weight is assumed to be minus 2, 1. For this case, okay. For the first case, assumed to be for this case, it's going to be minus 2. This one. What happened? So second case, you can see the weights will be 0. X-axis is 0 and the negative axis is -2. That's the second weight. 0 -2. For the third case, the weight is 2 -2. Anybody having difficulty visualizing it clearly? Any doubts? Please ask if you have doubts. Okay. Now we'll proceed to the next problem. Now this is a problem we are talking about. Okay. This is the kind of problem we're talking about. Take down this problem in the notebook and try to, after the class, try to work out this problem. Take some time, think and do this problem. More like a homework. Okay, solve the following classification problem with the perceptron. Apply each input vector in order for as many repetitions as it takes to ensure that the problem is solved. Draw a graph of the problem only after you have found the solution. So what is this problem? I have given some data. We want first pattern. Okay, first pattern itself having two data. It is now labeled first pattern. T is equal to output I want is T1 is equal to 0. And for the second pattern, I want output should be 1. Third pattern, I want output should be 0. Fourth pattern, I want. Now I have initialized the weights and biases. So for this neural network, initial weights are 0, 0. Give the first pattern and study the result. The bias also 0 initially to start with, initial bias. Then update the weights using the perceptron. To fully solve this problem, okay, to gain more insights. So then only you get some practice in solving this kind of problems. So I'll show you the answer, but you work out on your notebook afterwards. Okay. So this is the kind of formula we're talking about. Okay. Previous problem. So we'll start with W0 P1. The function what is given is hard limit. W0 P1 for the first pattern. Okay, you get 0, hard limit 0. Now what do you want? For the first pattern, what is the output? We are looking for 0. It passes through a hard limiter function, whether that value is given to you. The vector is Boolean, 0 or 1. So you can take it as hard limit. The function is hard limit. Output of these labels are all zeros ones now, so we can take it as hard limit. So if it is going to be hard limb, then do you understand the problem? Every one of you. Can somebody put in words what you have been expected to do? What is the problem statement? It has 4 patterns. Pattern 1, pattern 2, pattern 3. And the labels are given. You need to train a neural network. Okay. You train a network, 2 inputs, okay, and 4 patterns. Pattern 1, pattern 2, pattern 3. And these are all the X1, X2 values. And the corresponding target is also different. Are you getting my point? So naturally this data set is given to you and you are expected to train a perceptron. It's a very toy example, okay, with only 2-dimensional data. But I have been talking about something called million dimension. We can extend the same idea to million dimension. Whatever is works out in the 2-dimension or space can be extended to R in space, vector space. Okay, so now this is X1. Take the first pattern for some initial random weights, W and bias. Initialize. Take the first pattern and give it inside the network. W transpose P plus B. Okay, check whether the output is target is either 0 or 1. So you can use very well the hard limiting transfer. You apply your reason and use this transfer. Purely hard limiter function, either 0 or 1. So if this value is greater than or equal to 0, the value is 1. less than 0 to minus 3. Check whether you are doing it. If it is not classifying, how do you update? How do you update the weight? There are only two ways. One is new weight is equal to
W new equal to W plus
W
P.
plus P1, that particular weight, or otherwise W minus P1. Only two options. Based on the error, you have to choose. And the error bias can be updated the same way. Old bias plus E. Okay, only the error comes. The error can be either positive or this can be error. Yeah. Error only na weight. Bias, how do you update? Yeah. So the bias is going to be B plus B volt is equal to B plus E. B volt plus E. Okay, the error can be either positive or negative. Okay, you are getting my point. So that's a updation. Once you do that, you're going to get your answer. So just give a try in your notebook. Okay, try to apply this, take this problem and sit with this problem and try to solve it fully for this set of patterns. Okay. For the first pattern, we are going to get 1. Now the error is -1 because there it is 0 is output desired. Therefore, you update the weight like this. W0 plus E P1 transpose this one. Therefore, 0, 0, -1, 2. Is it clear? Simply update both the weights. One equation. And update the bias also. Okay, these two equations are simple. Once you know how to do this, then again you can take the updated weight and apply the second pattern. Apply the second pattern. For the updated weight, you apply the second pattern along with the bias, they would have 1. What is the target? Target is also equal, 1. Therefore, you need not update the weight at the second iteration. This W2 indicates the second iteration. The previous iteration is W1, so these weights are not being updated. Now you cannot be satisfied with this. You need to proceed further. Take the third pattern and apply it. Now what you apply? Again it is equal to T3. So you need not update the weights. The same weights can be taken for the fourth pattern also. Now when you apply it for the fourth pattern, this is different. That's not equal. Okay. Therefore, the perceptron will result in a new set of values for W. Okay, so that's what you can do. You getting the point? So this is how we proceed. You apply it for P1 and then update the weights. If it is equally matching, you need not update the weights. If it is not matching, you have to update the weights. Keep proceeding for all the patterns. Finally, what you need to do, you have to check for all the patterns. Okay, at the finally this value, W equal to -2, -3, B equal. This is what really working out for you. Now, can you draw the figure and see the result? Yes, you can do. Okay, you can simply draw the patterns. You can clearly see the patterns like this. These two patterns, they are enjoying the positive. And these two patterns, they have negative. Okay, the weight vector, how do you plot the line equation? We know that. W11 P1 plus W12 P2 plus P2. So you're going to get this line equation. From this, the coordinates are like this. Always P1 take in the x-axis, P2 in the y-axis. So naturally you have to keep P2 in one side of the equation, that is y, this is x. Therefore, if you do that, you're going to get the bias value as well as the line equation. So you can get the bias equation directly. Okay. This is the bias value. To find the y-intercept, P1 intercept, you have to put P2 equal to 0 here. So when you put P2 equal to 0, you're going to get this expression and you're going to have 1/2 as a bias. So if P2 is equal to 0, you can get the bias. You can draw this line comfortably. Once you draw this line, Okay, both P1 and P2 equal to 0. It's passing through the origin. This line is passing through the origin. So, no intersecting point. So that one, it in fact separates the two patterns. So that's this problem. Have any doubts in this problem? Anybody? Can you proceed? Now I'll raise you a question. This is a question you need to ponder over. So far we are talking about something called labeled data. What about if you are given some unlabeled data? How the machine will learn? Any fair guess? I said in the first class there are 3 different kinds of learning. One is supervised mode of learning. Second one is unsupervised mode of learning. Third one, reinforcement learning. Semi-supervised also there. Reinforcement. Now we are gradually moving towards supervised to unsupervised. In the second unit, full we will be talking about unsupervised. The first unit, perceptron, multi-layered perceptron. Both are in fact neural networks, very powerful neural networks, and they are related to supervised neural. Okay, we can extend this neural networks idea, multi-layered perceptron, to something called a very powerful algorithm called deep learning algorithm, wherein the network itself will learn from data. Okay, so if you give for example, an image, without properly, I can label it and I can give, without labeling also I can give, over a period of time it will be in a position to find out the image as a cat or dog. So deep learning methods are something really emerging to mind. So, but the basic idea stems from this multi-layered perception. We're going to have a series of layers, a lot of layers, deep in the sense number of layers or more, hidden layers. That's why it's called deep network. Okay, now think about this, unsupervised. How do you imagine that? When I'm not going to give any data, labeled data. For example, if I want to train my kid, I will say this is a blackboard, this is a chalk, this is a pen, this is a dog. I'll be labeling, okay, then only the kid will be in a position to understand. But I'm talking about training a network without labeling the data. How can you do that? Can any fair guess?
Reward-based learning.
What?
Reward-based learning.
Reward, okay. Reward-based learning comes under something called as reward is more like a label. Okay, a reinforcement, under the reinforcement learning technique, in fact, we'll be punishing and rewarding. Both are related to reinforcement learning, wherein we'll train the network, okay, with a lot of punishments and rewards. And the network over a period of time will try to prefer only the rewards. It will try to avoid punishment. Okay, so that they call it as a lot of algorithms are there. A very famous algorithm you might have heard of, policy iteration, value iteration. In fact, deep learning combined with reinforcement learning, they call it as deep reinforcement learning. These are all very powerful algorithms in the past 5-10 years, really gathering momentum. Okay, lot of applications now they are seeing these kind of algorithms.
So even without labels,
Yeah.
we can classify the data using clusters.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so you collect, see your data is more like this. Your data is like this, then somehow or other we need to devise an algorithm which should be in a position to recognize these clusters. Okay, this cluster is different from these clusters. Okay. Now think about the competitive learning just now we talked about. Okay, if these neurons are in a what do you call Euclidean distance norm, very close to the weights of a particular neuron. Just imagine this. I have 3 clusters of data is a good idea. Okay, just think about it. Another data set is there like this. And the third one is something like this here. Okay, 3 clusters I have. Now I would like to train my neural network, okay, to recognize these clusters. What do? I choose 3 neurons. Okay, and I'll give this data, 2-dimensional data. Okay, I'll be giving x1, x2. Then I give the same x1, x2 for all the 3. I'll randomize the weights, okay, and I'll study the output. You understand what I'm saying? For the given x1, x2 data, I choose 3 neuron network, 3 neurons, and I randomize the weights. Can you imagine what will happen at the output? Which one will be firing? Out of these 3, which one will be firing? Can you guess? Whichever weights, you know that very well. Whichever weights, okay, this weight or this weight or this weight, which are connected to a particular neuron, okay, is somewhat, that particular weight vector is somewhat closer to a particular pattern. Okay, you know that angle. So naturally, that particular neuron is going to go high. Okay, when in the first iteration, out of these 3 neurons, if this is showing 0.8 and this is showing 0.3 and this is showing 0.2, then what do I conclude? I will conclude that this neuron, this particular neuron is the winning neuron. Winning neuron. Okay, and then what do? I will choose a particular set of data which is somewhat closer to the first data, what I have given. Okay, the first pattern I am giving now, the second pattern when I am going to choose, it is somewhat very close to the pattern one. So when I am going to feed it again, and I will see again this particular neuron will fire, because that particular weight is closer again to this particular pattern. So when I am going to do that again and again a particular weight, those weights will get trained. Okay, I will update the weights also. So those weights will get trained to recognize a particular pattern, a cluster. And then when I'm going to choose a particular pattern which is somewhat far away from this data, and I'm going to feed it, and I will check again that this particular weight is going to, second particular neuron is going to go high, then I will assign that neuron for that cluster. For the third one, like that. So I can group 3 clusters using 3 neurons. Okay, so there are competitive learning rules are there. You try to think about that. Competitive layers, competitive neurons, we call it. In the coming class, we gradually will explore that, but it will take few more classes. Just I've introduced you how unlabeled data can be handled. Okay, with that I'll stop today's class. Any further discussion? You understand what I said right now? This one, this idea? Any some intuitive what do you call initial level understanding is there? All right. Okay, we'll discuss it about this algorithm again in the maybe after maybe 5 or 6 classes again. Okay, just I introduced you for this class. All right. Can we stop now? Any doubts so far? Kailash?
What else, sir?
Okay, fine. We'll stop.
All right, sir.
Okay. Thank you.